When your business is losing money, what God teaches the chosen one to do. My friend, there are days when you look at the numbers and your heart sinks. Revenue drops. Expenses rise. Debt piles up. Inventory sits. Partners go silent. Customers disappear. And you whisper, God, I've tried my best. Why am I still losing? If you're in that season right now, let me tell you something clearly. Losing money does not reduce your value, but how you respond in loss will reveal who you are and whose you are. The Bible never promises that believers will never face storms. God promises He will be with us in the storm, and He uses storms to deepen the foundation of a person. Today, I want to guide you through 5 clear directions. 5 steps the chosen one walks through when facing financial loss. Don't panic. Return to the truth. Don't blame. Take responsibility before God. Don't compromise. Hold integrity even when it hurts. Don't isolate. Seek wisdom and community. Don't quit. Rebuild with discipline and purpose. Let's walk through them one by one. 1. When you are losing, God says, don't panic. Return to the truth. Now, loss pushes people into the 2 extremes, panic and chaotic decisions, or paralysis and avoidance. But Scripture teaches us not to let anxiety drive us. Fear has a dangerous habit. It makes you act too fast. You slash prices randomly, you burn money on ads, you borrow carelessly, you make desperate deals, you think you are saving the business, but you may be sinking it further. So what does the chosen one do? The chosen one kneels before running, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Because decisions made in storms must come from peace, not panic. Do something very practical. Write down the truth. How much are you losing? How many days of cash flow remain? Which costs are essential? Which can be cut? Which products truly profit? Which channels are draining money? Truth does not destroy you. Illusion does. God never asks you to comfort yourself with, it will be okay. He asks you to stand in truth, then walk in wisdom. 2. When you are losing, God says, don't blame, take responsibility. In loss, the natural reaction is to find someone to blame. The market, the partner, the staff, the platform, the customers. Some of that may be true, but listen carefully. The chosen one does not live by excuses. The chosen one lives by responsibility. Taking responsibility is not self-punishment. It is praying, Lord, show me what I must change. Think of Job. He lost almost everything. People around him tried to explain and blame, but Job chose one thing. He spoke with God, not with bitterness. Some people lose money and become bitter. Some people lose money and become deeper. The chosen one asks, did I manage money wisely? Did I overspend out of ambition? Did I neglect the numbers? Did I sell what I didn't fully understand? Scripture teaches a powerful principle. You reap what you sow. Not to condemn you, but to show you a path. If you sow correctly again, you will reap correctly again. 3. When you are losing, God says, don't compromise. Keep integrity. This is where many people break. Loss creates temptation to take shortcuts. Lower quality. Exaggerate claims. Hide information. Bend the rules. Quick fixes. But God is clear about integrity, because He will not build your future on dishonesty. You may recover once through compromise, but you will lose something far greater. Peace and blessing. The chosen one understands. Success from God never requires you to sell your soul. If you must fix how you do business to be cleaner, more transparent, do it. If you must apologize to customers, do it. If you must refund money, do it. If you must accept short-term loss to protect long-term trust, do it. Integrity and faith are long-term capital. And God looks at how you do business, not only how much you make. 4. When you are losing, God says, don't isolate. Seek wisdom and counsel. Loss often produces shame and isolation. People hide, people stay silent, people try to carry it alone. But God did not design you to carry burdens alone. The Bible emphasizes wisdom and counsel. The chosen one is not proud. The chosen one says, Lord, send me the right advice and the right people. You need 2 sources. Prayer for wisdom. to distinguish fear from direction, practical counsel from someone who understands finance, cash flow, products, operations. Many losses are not because you are incapable, but because you are blind to critical leaks, hidden costs, low-margin products, wrong audience, inefficient channels. The chosen one is not afraid of correction, because correction now prevents collapse later. 5. When you are losing, God says, don't quit. Rebuild with discipline and purpose. This is the most important part. Many think the chosen one is someone favored whose life is easy. Remember, the chosen one is often the one being trained. God may use loss to teach you discipline, humility, management, focus, purpose. Sometimes God is not destroying you. He is destroying the wrong foundation you built. So how do you rebuild clearly? Use a simple framework called 3 clarities. Clarity 1. Cash flow cut. What burns money without results? Separate essential from optional expenses. Focus on surviving 90 days before thinking about growth. Clarity 2. Profit model. Which product truly profits? Which channel truly brings customers? How much do you really earn per order after all costs? If you don't measure, you can work hard and still lose. Clarity 3. Purpose. Who are you serving? What real value do you bring? If your purpose is unclear, you will chase fast money and break again. The chosen one does not need to win fast. The chosen one needs to walk right. And when you walk right, God opens the right doors at the right time. Conclusion. A word for the one who is losing. Remember this. God does not define you by one season of failure. He defines you by how faithful, wise, and resilient you are when you stand up again. If you are at the bottom today, do 3 things. Stop panicking and face the truth. Return to God and ask for wisdom. Rebuild with discipline, even in small steps. Because sometimes what God is doing is not giving you more money, but shaping you into someone capable of handling blessing, trust, and peace. If you are at the bottom, you still possess 3 powerful things: faith, truth, and discipline. And those 3 can rebuild an entire life. My friend, let me speak to you honestly. There are seasons where you give everything you have, your time, your energy, your focus, your heart, and still, the result looks small. You work late, you try again, you learn, you sacrifice. And yet you're still waiting for the breakthrough. And in that waiting, one question shows up quietly but painfully. God, if I'm trying my best, why is this still so hard? If that's you right now, I want you to hear this clearly. God's help is not always loud. Sometimes it doesn't look like instant success. Sometimes it looks like strength that shouldn't be there, but somehow is. It looks like doors opening at the exact right time. It looks like protection from the deal you were about to take. It looks like wisdom rising in your mind when you are about to panic. It looks like peace that makes no sense, but holds you steady anyway. And here's the truth we often forget. God does not reward trying the way the world does. The world rewards visible results. God honors faithfulness, integrity, and endurance, especially when nobody is clapping. 1. When you do your best, God strengthens what you cannot carry alone. There's a specific kind of tired that comes from doing your best. Not lazy tired. Not distracted tired. I mean the tired that comes from fighting your own doubts, showing up again, and refusing to quit even when your feelings beg you to stop. And in that place, God's help often comes as strength. You might not feel powerful, you might feel fragile, but you wake up and you take one more step. You answer the email, you do the work, you stay honest, you stay kind, you keep building. And later you realize that strength wasn't just me. My friend, you need to know, God's help does not always remove the burden. Sometimes He increases your capacity, and that matters because some blessings require a stronger version of you. Some opportunities would break you if they arrive too early, so God helps you by building you first. 2. When you do your best, God teaches you wisdom, not just speed. Many people ask God for a breakthrough, but they don't realize that a breakthrough without wisdom can become a disaster. Because if you're desperate, you will take shortcuts. If you're impatient, you will choose fast money over right money. If you're afraid, you will say yes to the wrong people. So sometimes God's help is not more. Sometimes it is clarity. Clarity to see what's draining you. Clarity to see what isn't working. Clarity to recognize the pattern that keeps repeating. Clarity to stop chasing everything and finally focus on the one thing that matters. And here's the shift. When you've done your best and you're still waiting, don't assume God is absent. Maybe God is protecting you from the path that would cost you your peace. Wisdom is not a delay. Sometimes wisdom is the miracle. 3. When you do your best, God uses the waiting to purify your motives. This part is uncomfortable, but it's real. Sometimes you think you want success, but what you really want is validation. Sometimes you think you want growth, but what you really want is to prove someone wrong. Sometimes you think you want money, but what you really want is to feel safe. God is not cruel for letting you wait. God is kind because He refuses to give you something that will poison you. So the waiting season becomes a mirror. It reveals what's inside. It exposes pride. It exposes fear. It exposes the need to control everything. And if you let God work in you there, you come out different. You become stable. You become disciplined. You become the kind of person who can receive blessing without becoming arrogant, careless, or spiritually empty. That's God's help too. Four, when you do your best, God opens doors you couldn't force open. Let me say this carefully. There are doors you can open by effort, and there are doors that only open by favor. You can work hard, and you should. But there are moments when something shifts that you cannot explain. A person suddenly gives you a chance. A new client appears. A new idea lands at the perfect time. A connection happens naturally. A problem resolves in a way you didn't predict. That is not always coincidence, because God is not limited to your strategy. God can place you in the right room, at the right time, with the right people, without you begging. But here's the key. God's favor often finds people who are already faithful in the small. Not perfect, but faithful. So keep showing up. Keep doing what is right. Keep improving your craft. Keep telling the truth. Keep serving people well. That is how you prepare for doors that effort alone cannot open. 5. When you do your best, God may not change the situation first. He changes you first. Sometimes you pray, God, change this, and God answers, I will, but first, I will change you. Because the real goal is not simply a better situation. The real goal is a stronger, wiser, purer person. Think about it. If your circumstances improve, but your character stays weak, you will lose everything again. If your income grows, but your discipline stays small, you will sabotage yourself. If your platform grows, but your humility disappears, you will fall publicly. So God helps you by shaping your inner life, teaching patience, teaching courage, teaching self-control, teaching forgiveness, teaching humility, teaching endurance. And yes, sometimes that feels slow, but slow growth is stable growth. SE 6, what doing your best really means in God's eyes. Now let's make this practical. Doing your best does not mean exhausting yourself until you collapse. Doing your best means being faithful with what God put in your hands today. It means you do the work you can do. You tell the truth even when it costs you. You stop blaming and start learning. You fix what you can fix. You ask for wisdom and accept correction. You don't quit just because it's hard, and you leave what you cannot control in God's hands. Here's a simple line to remember. Your job is obedience. God's job is outcome. You plant. God gives growth. You show up. God orders steps. You do your part. God does what only He can do. 7. A message for the person who feels unseen. My friend, if you feel unseen right now by people, by results, even by life, Listen. God sees what others miss. He sees the nights you didn't give up. He sees the tears you didn't post. He sees the temptations you resisted. He sees the integrity you kept when compromise would have been easier. He sees the faith you carried when your emotions were broken. And He's not wasting your effort. Even when you can't see the progress, you are building something. You're building discipline. You're building resilience. You're building a stronger identity. You're building a foundation, and foundations are often built underground, where nobody can applaud. Closing. So if you've truly done your best and you're still waiting, don't interpret that season as rejection. Instead, consider this. Maybe God is strengthening you. Maybe God is giving you wisdom. Maybe God is purifying your motives. Maybe God is protecting you from the wrong door. Maybe God is preparing a new door. Maybe God is shaping you into the person who can carry what you prayed for. Keep going, my friend. Keep doing the next right thing. Stay honest. Stay disciplined. Stay faithful. Stay prayerful. Because when you've done your best, you are not alone. God's help may not always look like instant success, but it will look like guidance, strength, protection, and favor. Step by step. And one day you will look back and realize what I thought was a delay was actually God building me.